Hello, everyone. My name is Juliana McKee, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my cultural presentation over Judaism. Judaism began around 4,000 years ago. Around that time in the Middle East, people worshipped many gods. Abraham, a Hebrew man, is considered the father of the Jewish faith because he promoted the central idea of the Jewish faith: there is one God. God promised the Israelites he would care for them as long as they obeyed God's laws. The Hebrews lived in Egypt, where they were enslaved. Moses was a Hebrew man chosen by God to lead the Hebrew people out of Egypt toward the Promised Land. While leading the Hebrew people out of the Sinai desert, Moses was stopped at Mount Sinai, where he was given the Ten Commandments and the basic laws that form the Torah, which is the book of Jewish law that still holds to today. After some fighting, the Jews established the Israelite kingdom. After many years, Canaan was conquered by the Assyrians, the Babylons, and then eventually the Romans. Most of the Jews were scattered all over the region and eventually moved from place to place to avoid persecution, which continues to this day. Jews needed to live in their own country where all Jews from anywhere in the world would have the right to live and be citizens. In 1948, Palestine was divided up and a Jewish state of Israel was formed in the land that was once called Canaan, surrounded by countries and predominantly Muslim population. Now that we have talked over the Jewish religion and where it came from, we can talk about their views on life. It is believed that nothing should change the speed of someone's living life, even to prevent suffering. Euthanasia, suicide, and assisted suicide are forbidden by Jewish law. Only if death is certain does Jewish law permit ceasing artificially prolonging life. Abortions are only allowed if a mother's life will be in danger. A fetus is not considered a human until born according to Jewish law. You are not only allowed to, but required to violate the commandments if necessary to save someone's life. Death in the Jewish religion is not a tragedy. No matter when it occurs in life, death is a natural process. It is believed that death, like life, is all a part of God's plan. The mourning practices have two purposes: show respect for the dead and comfort the living. Traditionally, once a person has died, their eyes will be closed and the body will be laid on the floor, covered with candles lit next to the body. The body will never be left alone. This is a sign of respect until after it is buried. The people who guard the body are called shomerim, and they have the utmost respect for the body. For example, they must not eat, drink, or perform a commandment in the presence of the dead. This is because the dead can no longer do any of these things. While being prepared for the burial, the body will be cleaned and then wrapped in plain linen. It is said that the dress and the coffin be simple so that everyone be equal. The body will never be viewed at the funerals due to Jewish law. No body may be cremated. It is important for the bodies to be able to come in contact with the earth. Preparations usually take a day or two, and until the body is ready, that is the only thing the mourners are able to take care of. All family is to be left alone and allowed full expression of grief, not receiving any condolence calls or visits during this time. After the burial, a close friend or relative of the family should prepare the first meal for the mourners. This meal is only made for the family, not for the visitors, and after this time, condolence calls can be made. The next 7 days are observed by parents, children, spouses, and siblings of the deceased, preferably all together. They sit on low stools, do not wear leather shoes, do not wear cosmetics, cut their hair, work, and do not bathe or wear fresh clothing. They only study the Torah for related mourning and grieving prayers. If a festival occurs during the mourning period, the mourning is terminated. But if the burial occurs during a festival, the mourning is delayed until after the festival. The next period of mourning lasts 30 days after the burial. During this time, you do not attend parties or celebration, no shaving or cutting hair, and no music. The final period is only observed for a parent. It lasts 12 months. They must avoid celebrations and parties, theaters and concerts, and every day for 11 months they are to recite the mourner's Kaddish. After this, there is no more formal mourning to be completed by the family. Kaddish is a commonly known mourner's prayer. There are many variations of the prayer, routinely recited at many other times, and the prayer itself has nothing to do with death or mourning. Finally, there is a tombstone prepared so the deceased is not forgotten. Thanks for listening, and I hope that you learned a lot about Jewish traditions and mourning.